Alright, so let's talk about doing macros and everything. So macros can be just the same as executors. You can store them into, as you see right there, I was trying to fix something earlier. The command line didn't like that. So I put this clear all command right here, and it's on 115, and so I already programmed it in. I put it in my top right round button on the actual Mini, the APC Mini. And then I went to Roadshow Cockpit, and as you see, I'm hitting the button on the MIDI, and it highlights, it says clip stop, and that's the name of the button on the MIDI device. And so now, if I go in and do, let's just do fixture 101 at, and we'll go to MA3D, and I'll hit that top right button, and it works. So let's make our own macro now. Let's say that we want to turn off like a row of executors. Like, let's say you get lost kinda, and you're not sure which executor is on, because sometimes these buttons don't work properly. Like the color of the buttons don't work properly on the actual MIDI. So what I've done before is at the end of each row, like on button number 8, so this column right here, I'll put in a macro saying off executor 101 through 107. So let's make a macro real quick. So imported macros already, predefined macros. I can't remember if I described that in the last video because I had to redo a video, but I'll show you real quick what I did. Because if you make a new show file, these aren't going to pop up right away. You'll have to do this. You'll have to go into setup. You'll have to go into import, export, import, macros, and you'll select all of these all the way down, and then you'll hit import. But right now it says 233 because that's the next available block that we have. If you did a new show file, let's say start macro at 1, and you'll just hit import, and then they'll import, and you'll be good to go. You can also do this with effects, masks, MA all that kind of stuff. So going back to our show here, let's pull up. Oh yeah, I was going to show you how to make a macro. So let's go down to our next empty slot, and I'll start on 256 right here. So I right-clicked it. So let's do add. So edit command. So what we're going to do is we're going to say executor. Let's say executor, not preset. Let's oops that. Executor 101 through 107. Let me put off before. Type in off executor 101 through 107, and we'll do a fade time of 0. You can do whatever you want, but we'll do 0 for now. All right. Cool. So now we can rename this macro. Let's rename it to Zec 101 through 107. Off. This is where my OCD kicks in. I don't want off to be at the end. I want it to be at the beginning. Off. There we go. I like that. So we'll go into our action buttons, if it'll let me. So this is going to be for that row. So I said 101 through 107 off, so I'm going to store it in 108. You can store anywhere you want. So we'll go all the way down. And you can also do this too. You can say, we can go back to our main screen right here. So remember this, 108. We can say assign macro, what was it, 256 at executor 108, please. And now we should have that executor right here. So that's just another way to put in an executor in a slot like that. So let's see if it works. So I'll go ahead and hit the position, and let's say like you have a bunch of positions stored right here, and you have a quick off executor 107 or 101 through 107. Boom, it worked. If you want to go into this macro and change the fade time, you can. So simply go back to macros, go down to where your macro was, And again, you can store this, so that way you don't have to scroll down every time. You can have your custom macros down here, hit store, and hit that main again, hit please, and now when you go back, it's always going to pop up on that part of the screen, so that way you don't have to scroll each time. So let's right click this and go in and do a fade of 2 seconds. So you can always go back and edit it if you want to. And we'll try this again. We're on flat, and I'll bring up our lights. I don't have my fader up. Let's do fader up. Cool. So we have our different positions, going through those on my MIDI. And then I'm going to hit off executor 101 through 107. And that's it. So you can make macros for anything. This is the beauty of macros. So you can think of something, a cool way to off an executor, or to bring up a different page, to bring up different things. So just think on what you want, try to put it into a macro, and if it doesn't fire correctly, you can go to your command line and see the error that's coming up. It can help you dial it in a little bit better. So that's pretty much it for now on the MIDI controller, syncing up with the Grand MA and with Roadshow Cockpit. I think I have covered most of the basics and everything. Again, once you have the MIDI controller, go into here, into APC Mini, open window, and you can mess with your colors and everything. And again, the colors are finicky, so sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But you can set them as a default as well, to where they're just one color no matter what, and you can have them just set like that to where they all work properly. So that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.